Have you ever imagined living in a place so isolated that the rest of the world feels like it doesn't even exist? Welcome to the world of curiosities, where we explore curiosities that surprise even those who think they've seen it all. Today, you're about to discover some of the most remote communities on the planet. Some people are made for the fast-paced rhythm of big cities and can't even imagine life far from all that movement. Others, however, prefer the calm of remote places, where silence and peace are part of everyday life. If you belong to this second group, get ready. This video is for you. Today, I'll introduce 8 of the most isolated communities on Earth. Corvo Island, Portugal. Despite being tiny, Corvo Island sparks enormous curiosity in everyone who visits it. Blending natural beauty, mystery, and an impressive level of isolation, this small piece of land, the smallest of the Azore archipelago, is home to only about 430 people and has a long and peculiar history. For centuries, pirates and corsairs used to appear there, and in some situations, residents even cooperated with them. Today, the island has just one school, one hospital, 3 hotels, and a few simple houses overlooking the sea. Even so, there is a small airport that receives weekly flights. In the north of the island lies the famous Calderon, a gigantic and impressive volcanic crater, considered one of the most beautiful in the archipelago. The sense of tranquility is so intense that many visitors say time seems to pass more slowly there. And perhaps it's exactly this calm rhythm that makes Corvo such a special and unforgettable place. Tristan da Cunha. If total isolation is what you're looking for, this archipelago is practically unbeatable. Tristan da Cunha is the most remote inhabited place on the planet. To give you an idea, the nearest inhabited area is St. Helia Island, more than 2,400 kilometers away. The main town, Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, has only 268 residents, yet it surprises with its infrastructure. There's a school, a hospital, and even leisure options like bars, cafes, and swimming pools. However, the low population diversity brings its challenges. Diseases like asthma and glaucoma are relatively common among residents, and specialists believe this is due to the high number of marriages between distant cousins. After all, when almost everyone is related, finding someone from outside becomes almost impossible. Even so, the residents maintain a strong sense of community, helping each other with almost everything. Life there moves slowly, with hardly any rush, and many say this improves their quality of life. The surrounding landscape, made up of volcanic mountains and ocean on all sides, reinforces the feeling of being in a world completely separated from the rest. Tristan da Cunha is isolation, but it is also warmth and belonging. Suðuroy, Faroe Islands. With a very small population and landscapes that look straight out of epic movies, the island of Suðuroy is the perfect refuge for those seeking solitude. Located in the southern part of the archipelago, its name literally means Southern Island. It is surrounded by mountains and frequently battered by intense cold winds during winter. The wild nature does not make life easy there, but it rewards with dramatic cliffs and breathtaking views. If you value natural beauty above comfort, this could be the ideal destination. The near absolute silence of the region creates a unique sense of total immersion in nature. For many travelers, stepping onto Suðuroy feels like entering a world untouched by time. The absence of large buildings and any urban signs reinforces the feeling of pure isolation. And for those who enjoy observing birds and marine life, the island offers rare and unforgettable encounters. It's the kind of place that proves simplicity can be truly grand. And since there is almost no traffic or large urban centers, silence dominates nearly every corner. At night, the starry sky becomes a spectacle of its own, as the low-light pollution allows constellations to appear with stunning clarity. Suðuroy is one of those places where nature sets the pace, and that makes all the difference. Coober Pedy, Australia. In southern Australia, there's a city that is completely out of the ordinary. Coober Pedy became world famous as the opal capital, since for decades it was one of the main extraction sites for this precious stone. But what truly surprises is the way its 2,700 residents live. Most of them live in underground houses, built to escape the extreme heat that easily exceeds 40 degrees Celsius in the summer. Even beneath the ground, the city has churches, hotels, bars, and various businesses. If your idea of isolation also includes experiencing a totally different lifestyle, Coober Pedy can be fascinating. Walking through the underground tunnels feels like being in a parallel world where everything works in a unique way. Many residents say that despite the difficulties, life there is surprisingly peaceful. And for adventure seekers, the abandoned mines carry curious stories that attract explorers from around the world. Coober Pedy is without a doubt a place that defies all expectations. Linosa Island, Italy. Located in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, Linosa is part of the Pelagie Islands archipelago. The local landscape stands out due to the scarcity of vegetation and many traces of ancient volcanic activity that shaped the island. Its just over 420 residents live in colorful houses, creating a charming contrast with the arid surroundings. Linosa is also close to Lampedusa, a paradise destination highly sought after by travelers from all over the world. Despite being small, the island holds a welcoming atmosphere that makes any visitor feel part of the community. The quiet streets and slow daily rhythm recall the charm of old Mediterranean villages. In addition, the waters surrounding Linosa are incredibly clear, attracting divers in search of vibrant marine life. It's the kind of place that's simple, remote, and unforgettable. And since there is almost no traffic or large urban centers, silence dominates nearly every corner. At night, the starry sky becomes a spectacle of its own, as the low-light pollution allows constellations to appear with stunning clarity. Linosa is one of those places where nature sets the pace, and that makes all the difference. Oymyakon, Russia. When it comes to extreme cold, Russians are already experts. But Oymyakon takes that concept to another level. While in Brazil, many already find it strange when temperatures reach 10 degrees Celsius, imagine living in a place where the thermometer easily drops to minus 50 degrees Celsius. Around 500 people endure this harsh climate, facing constant challenges. Due to the lack of fresh food, the local diet is mainly based on reindeer and horse meat, and vegetables can only be grown for a short period each year. Can anyone really get used to that? Even with heating systems in almost every building, schools cancel classes when the cold becomes too extreme. Still, residents show an impressive ability to adapt, following a routine that many would consider unimaginable. Oymyakon also holds frozen landscapes that are as beautiful as they are intimidating, attracting curious travelers from around the world. And despite the harsh conditions, there is a visible pride among those who live there, as if every winter overcome were a true test of strength. It is one of the coldest inhabited places on the planet, and also one of the most fascinating. Palmerston, Cook Islands. This small Pacific paradise was discovered by explorer James Cook in 1774. It is a stunning atoll, surrounded by a coral reef that stretches over 15 kilometers. Today, only about 50 people live there, almost all descendants of a single man, William Masters, a British carpenter who arrived on the island in 1863. He had 3 wives and no less than 23 children, forming the 3 families that still manage Palmerston's council today in partnership with the government of the Cook Islands and New Zealand. What's curious is that despite sharing the same origin, each family has its own traditions developed over generations. Life there revolves entirely around the sea, from fishing to the transport of supplies, which only arrive a few times a year. Those who visit Palmerston often say it feels like stepping into a world completely preserved. And perhaps it is precisely this isolation that keeps the community's charm and strong identity alive. Huacachina, Peru. In the middle of the Peruvian desert lies a charming village built around a small oasis. Surrounded by massive sand dunes, Huacachina looks like something straight out of a science fiction movie and is considered one of the most beautiful and photogenic places in the country. In the 1940s, the site became popular among Peruvians who believed the oasis waters had medicinal properties. In the 1990s, tourists from all over the world began discovering the destination. Even so, the current population does not exceed 100 people, who mainly survive on the growing tourism industry. What's fascinating is that despite being so small, Huacachina vibrates with energy throughout the day, especially thanks to sandboarding and dune buggy rides. At sunset, the scenery transforms completely, revealing a sky that seems to paint the desert in gold. Many visitors describe the feeling of being there as almost surreal. And it's this combination of beauty, mystery, and isolation that makes this oasis truly unique in